saw me on the block. Go 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 saw me on the block. Let the smoke clear and we right here. Our simple presence it strikes fear. We ahead like light years. We don't fight fear. Incite real moments of the right here. We just hype, yeah, except we'll black out the night, yeah. In the middle of the fight with the mic, make the lights scared. Make the circle in the squares, we can fight bears. Phantom of the opera, ghost in the shell. The army in the back, mobbing close as hell. You better hope when you yell that they open the cell. Can't get close to the ghost, don't even post the bell.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab in another episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. We are joined today by collector and collaborator extraordinaire Adam Gilbert. Adam, how are you?
What's up, Leon? I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm glad to have you. I see you're kind of in the garage. You have a lot of medals. Is that?
Yeah, and listen, this is not like a flex or anything. I swear to you, I have dogs, a 9-month-old. This is the only space that can work.
Obviously, spot?
It's the quietest spot. This is the most conducive spot. I have some clink pins and stuff too, but this is the spot. Like, yeah, I got some lighting from the garage, so it's quiet in here.
Fair enough. I didn't know you were a Lance Armstrong on your time off.
So these are actually Spartan races. They're just like obstacle course races. Yeah.
Even harder. This is like jumping through mud and water and stuff
obstacles,
like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna need you to teach me how to do one of those one of these days. But
let's do it.
In the meantime, let's kind of break down you. So, what kind of first got you collecting Clink Room hats?
Yeah. Like a lot of people I see on here, I started with teams, like before I also on a bunch of different teams, and I appreciate this. Somehow I always ended up on the Blue Jays, so I actually have an affinity for like Blue Jay mascots and everything, and the colorway, everything. Yeah, I had a lot of Blue Jays hats growing up, so yeah, and then my dad always wore hats, so it was just kind of like and I jeans, I guess, but. I, like most people, it just got kind of felt like the same thing going on. And I had a couple custom team ones. I don't know if you remember, they did like for me, this series had like a chokehold on me. Like they did the city skyline and it would have the team in like the little quarter of the panel and it would have like the skyline. I had again like some Toronto ones with the CN Tower and everything. So I'm from SoCal, so like of course I had Dodger hats with the city skyline. Those were really cool. So I think that's what like started where I was like, this hat's way cooler than your generic fitted and stuff. And then from there, I found Clink Room like kind of right at the end of COVID, like shelter in place. So my first pre-order ever, I actually brought it, was Sting Like a Bee.
Oof. Yeah.
J Mats. I know, so good. I got ads on Instagram and I was like, wait, hold up. Like, that's a cool hat. I'm a big boxing fan, grew up, and I know he was before my time, but I like studied the game. So I love Muhammad Ali, his personality and everything. So I saw that and I was like, yo, this is good. And so I ordered that and I didn't know anything about Clink Room. And so I just remember this took a full calendar year. And I'm sure you're not surprised by that, right? But for me, I had emailed probably like 8 months after and I was like, yo, did you guys forget me? Did these ship out? Because I feel like I ordered a long time ago. And
you didn't know you ordered an NFT. You ordered an NFT.
Oh, dude, seriously. At that point, I was like, yeah, what is this? Some sort of like electronic hat? So yeah. She's like, do you want to cancel? I'm like, nah, let's let it ride. I already spent the money. It's cool. And then man, thank goodness I let it ride because my wallet says no, like I should have quit it out. But yeah, that was my first one. I loved it. And it came out and I was just like, man, this is so much better than anything I'm seeing around. So that was early 2022.
Yeah.
So I've been like lightly collecting since then. And then in the last year, say, is when it's just taken full storm, like full go ahead, the definite collector now. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. I noticed you kind of being more and more active within like the Facebook groups and the Discord channels and stuff like that. Like, how are you enjoying the general like community for the Clink Room?
Yeah, super active on the buy sell trade page, and I would say like on Instagram too. I'm just more of like commenting all the time and like showing props and everything and encouragement. And even if, of course, I have nothing to do with it or whatever, if it's someone I'm like unfamiliar with, like if it's dope, it's dope. I just like to, let them know what's up. But in the buy sell trade page, definitely active.
That's awesome.
And it's not just me. Like it is cool. Like when people are new to the group or they post ISOs or something, I do have a good memory. So if I have seen that come across and in that
You'll tag
size,
someone.
yeah, I'll just hit them up and say like, try this pathway, or why don't I'll connect you with so and so. And I mean, that's just like the way of life, right? Like you give what you get. So like, or you get what you give. And so I have found people, it's like worked out too. Cause then like someone will know what my ISOs are and they'll hit me
Yeah.
up like, hey, I came across this guy that has this. I know you were looking for it. So it's just like kind of a cool, cyclical thing. Yeah.
That's
And I
awesome.
enjoy it. The Clink community is large but small. You know, like I've
Mhm.
noticed early on, a lot of y'all that OGs know each other, and it's not far removed. Like if someone knows someone, that person knows you, and so on and so forth. So you do run into a lot of the same people and stuff like that. So I would say it's really supportive. You know, getting started, I will just say in terms of the collaboration piece, like if you're like nervous or scared or whatever, there's probably going to be some people that say no. Like for me, I had, my first hat idea, I had a lot of people say no. But even when they did it in cool ways, or they tried to like, I don't say pass me, but they passed me someone else or like shot me someone else's way. And that person would say, I don't have the time, or that's not really my vibe. Why don't you try this person? So even when someone said no, they were still kind of trying to look out like, I think this person or this artist might like that idea. Why don't you try them? And I thought that was really cool because it could have just been a no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know they're
Yeah.
busy. So I like that. And so that was cool.
Yeah. At what point did you kind of start thinking about moving on from like just being a collector to someone who can collaborate with artists?
I mean, I think probably, yeah. I mean, so like this wasn't till last year, right? So
Mhm.
definitely not till I was collecting for a little bit. And I just thought like, why not? I see sometimes, like I would see artists post hats, and then every once in a while there would be a collaborator I'd never heard of or someone, and I just thought like, oh, okay, cool. And for me, I'm very outgoing, and so, I think a lot of the artists would tell you that I'm not afraid to just hit someone up, and because if they say no, they say no. But
Yeah.
I'll just ask someone like, who was this like, or who? Oh yeah, how did you get this hat in, and what was that like when you asked them, and how much editing was it on your part? What did you have to give them, right? Like was it a drawing? Because I definitely don't consider myself a good drawer. So I
Yeah.
like finding out the process and stuff. And from there, again, everyone was so just transparent and easy to talk to that I feel like they made it really approachable and feasible. So, and then on top of that, dude, I'm just not afraid to put myself out there. So all these people kept saying no, and I was like, oh, it's all right. Someone will probably say yes, and if they don't, then
Yeah.
I'll move on to another. And hey, if they don't, it means the idea is probably not that good, right? So I'll just move on to something else. And luckily, Aurelian was the first one that was like, and it's so funny, like his English and stuff. Like, so I all he said was could be cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, all right, is that a yes? Or like, are you just saying generally that could be cool? Cause I agree, dude. But like, so we're gonna do this. And I just, and so it was really funny, like chatting with him. He's like, yeah, no, like I'll give it a shot. And so yeah, then that's how it happened.
Yeah. So like you're talking about the DJ confrontation, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That
DJ
one
Khaled,
it hasn't delivered yet, right?
it hasn't. So
Okay.
original target date was November, and I saw it got pushed back. I mean, last I checked, it was January. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping any week now get some action on that. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah. To me, that's the hardest part. So like you've got over finding a partner to do it with. You got over the crits, any edits, then the pre-order stage, then the closing, and then now is the hard part, waiting for final product to deliver. But yeah, that was an awesome piece. I remember first seeing it in crits. I think it was like back in May. I want to say
Yeah.
May-ish, June-ish, that
Hmm.
kind of area.
Yeah.
It reminded me like of like Napster and LimeWire for whatever reason, but
Yeah.
it's a rad piece. I can't wait for people to get a hold of that one. And then you submitted another one. I think it was with the Terrier and the Tank, and then you had Polaris go through. That was with Milos.
Yeah. So the second one was actually Love Is Blind with Heather, and
Okay.
that was based on her dog. And
Mhm.
I think if you're scrolling through my IG, it's just because she took it down, so it's just not up there
Okay.
right now. But
Cool.
yeah, that was the very next week, and that got in as well. And so kind of like a whirlwind, right? Because I know nothing about this, and also too, I don't know if you remember it, but that the DJ Kong week was the very first week they went to 20. And so I remember watching Sundaze and here in my garage and everything. And I was kind of hoping it would pop up. And then you'd said, oh, like they're going to be trying something new. They're going to be going to 20 in hopes to get more designs in. And I was like, man, are you kidding me? Like, chill out. Maybe just chill. Maybe just stay at 10 for a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
And then I saw it at like 15. I was like, all right, cool. It's go time. And then the very next week, it had popped. Love Is Blind popped up. And yeah, and so it's funny. I had worked for a couple months to try to get someone to take on DJ Kong. And then with Heather, that Love Is Blind was just so surreal because I had liked a couple of her pictures and then she just reached out and said, thanks for the support. And I said, yeah, for sure. And, we connected on dogs and everything. And she had said, oh yeah, like I'm thinking about this piece for my dog who's blind and everything. And, so like my profession, I work at Guide Dogs for the Blind. So I'm an instructor there. And I, know a lot about that world and that realm. And so I was just saying, I said, hey, if you need any help with subject material or anything, just let me know. And then she just said like, well, what, do you want to just collab with me on it? And I was like, man, after like months of like, hey, can you work with me? Can you work with me? Heather, let's just do it together. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, that was a cool piece, very personal to her. And it had a real, like a touch of like what I do in my life and everything. So an accessible component was really cool. And then Polaris, I had that idea for a little bit. And I know you know this, but man, Milos is just a beast. Like his style is just so like, it's just so well-rounded and just like gripping. And so I sent that to him just after my baby was born. And so it had been, that had also took a while to come to fruition. But so, and then there were a couple like Arctic, like Northern Lights that had come through in crits. And I hit him up like, dude, like this is kind of like what we were thinking. And he's so funny, man. He was just like, dude, brother, chill. I got this. I'll make it my own. It'll be dope. And I believe him because his stuff is super dope. And sure enough, when he sent that, I was just like, man, this is so good. Like, this is so, so good.
Yeah.
And I know you say like that, like the scenic scape and stuff is like not really like your jam, but yeah, even, you were super complimentary. Like, this is just like super well done. I can't hate on this and stuff. And I feel like it was just like a universally like appealing, good looking design.
Mm-hmm. I think for like scenescapes themselves, like I enjoy them in terms of like the art and what they could be. I just feel like when you shrink them down to like a hat, it almost like you almost lose a lot of like the details and stuff like that. So that's my whole thing.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. I mean, you're wearing one that we kind of worked on and kind of art directed, and Arctos is like that one's a rad one because it kind of reminds me of the Minnesota Wild logo, where it's like a silhouette plus a scenescape rather than just a plain scenescape. But I mean, we're seeing it evolve too. The thing too is I don't blame the artists for making them because they vote so well. They vote well, and they sell well. So I'm not mad at them. But in terms of like your collection, how has it kind of like evolved over time? Like, do you focus on specific themes or specific artists to purchase from?
Yeah, definitely no specific artists. Like, I am very much of the mind, like if I see something, I like it. I don't really care about the rest. So I would say I have like a pretty versatile collection. If anything, there might be some colors I might not gravitate to or speak to me.
Yeah.
And a couple people know this about, I'm not a big like skull or like Reaper dude. So, or like horror and stuff like that. I don't have too much of that, but I do love Kongs. I'm a big Kong guy.
Nice.
And I have a good amount for being honest. Just a couple shy of like having like most, if not all of them. I just think Kongs are so cool. It's the logo.
It's a cool mascot, right?
It's like such a cool mascot. And then to see the way that different artists have interpreted it is so cool too, that it makes that unique too. So I like having that collection to showcase of like, and honestly, it's probably most of what I wear because there's either a color or a theme Kong that goes with like every holiday. So that's my biggest part of my collection. Yeah, but no, nothing. I love landscape, nature. I work with animals. I've worked with animals like all my life. So I'm big on animals. Yeah. Bears in particular.
That's awesome. In terms of like the collaborative process, what would you say is the most challenging part of that process for you?
Yep. I mean, you probably know people just like aren't patient. I'd say so. I'm a patient dude, so
Hmm.
and it could be challenging at times. I had alluded to before, man, people are gonna say no. It's totally all good. It's not their it's not if it's not their theme or their vibe, and artists and designers are so busy that I would say, and this is a kudos to you. I really watch Sundays and I kind of studied the game per se, and I realized how much time they invest in this and how many designs they post and go through, and there's a list, right? So I went into it just kind of like, yeah, it's cool if someone says yes, but I'm not expecting them to say no. And so I would say, like, to those out there that want to get a hat in and want to work with someone, the best thing you could do is like follow all the artists and just like see what they put out, right? Like you and I know, I probably won't have an idea for Josh Bowles. I think he's awesome. Like I think his
Yeah.
stuff is so unique, but I know myself, and that's just not something like his is so unique to what he does, and he kills it. But that's not something like I think I'm probably gonna think of.
Hmm.
And so look at what they do, look at what they gravitate to, see and see what they do really well. Because then if you hit them up, they're at least more likely to appreciate the idea you have if it revolves
Yeah.
around something they typically put out. But just be patient and like understand that for most of them, right? This is a hobby. So like this, if they get around to it with Aurelian, he took like like 4 months to do DJ Kong. And although Heather's was faster, I mean, yeah, Milos was just around 3 months, 4 months. So, and that's super cool with me. Like, I'm just happy they got out. So just be patient, study the game a little bit. Like, I think artists appreciate that too, right? Like, if you say, oh hey, like if you screenshot something that they had and like, hey, this is awesome, and I have this idea and it makes me think it's kind of this same theme, I can't help but think they appreciate that too, right? Like, it would make sense to me.
Yeah. 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 Um, in terms of like your creative process, like how does the process work for you? Are you thinking of like the name first? Or are you thinking of like the art style, or who you can pair it up with? Like kind of how do you kind of work through your creative process?
So I'm not a name guy. I although I did help with DJ Confrontation because
Hmm.
I know y'all like puns, and puns are just like the thing for
Hmm.
me. It's just not on the top of my list. It kind of comes after. I kind of like to fully flush out an idea of like what it would look like, front, side profile, uh, any extra plus ones, and like in the element and everything. So, like for instance, I have a couple in my notepad right now, and I think they're like close, but they're just not there, and so therefore
Yeah.
I wouldn't send it to someone. Like I think it's the start of something, but it's just not fully there. So I kind of I picture the concept first and like fully get it out and what it might look like and stuff like that. And then for me, then it's style. So like with Milos and Polaris, I had this like envisioned the reflection off the water and like the ice and the mountains and everything and those colors. And I just thought like his take on that would just be sick. And I
Yeah.
was so grateful that because he had some like that, but not really, like not quite right. So I was so stoked when he was like, yeah, I want that. That could be dope. So for me, it's like the idea, the concept, what it could look like, and then the style, and I'll go from there and just hit up a couple people and see if they gravitate towards it. Yeah, and then the name is last. Like for
Yeah.
instance,
Yeah,
it's
I'm the
funny.
same way.
Yeah, you're the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought like when for Polaris, I had said because instead of like Aurora Borealis, I said, "Hey Milos, what about Aurora Borealis?" And I'm thinking, genius, nailed that. And he was like, "No."
No.
He's like, and so deadpan. He's like, "No, the design is not. It's not about the bear." And I was like, "No, I get it, but like, you see what I'm doing
Yeah.
here?" He was like, "Think of something else." And I was like, "Okay, cool, man. Like, okay, no problem." So he kind of validated my thought of like, nah, like the design first and foremost, and then the name. But however, I mean, it totally makes sense that some people think of a pun or a name or a nickname, and then they go off that, right? I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough to. I mean, there's times where for me at least, hats produced, hats made, mocked up, everything, and it's almost ready to go, and I'm sitting here thinking like, what am I going to name it on my website?
Yeah.
And then there's other times where like you have it you have the name and you have the concept nailed down, and then you kind of stick to that. But my thing is like you don't want to get too married to the concept where now it's like, okay, well you can't do this because it's supposed to be that or whatever. So you never want to have your hat suffer because of the concept. So it's I would say for the most part the naming of the hat is last, and
Well,
it
and
could change over time too.
totally. And you bring up a great point, which I like didn't mention in terms of like the collaboration process. When you shoot something to an artist or designer, yeah, don't get married to like your version of that. So
Hmm.
for instance, DJ Kong, if we're just being super transparent, that is nothing what I sent him. Because I do like sending drawings to the artist.
Yeah,
I also feel like it's like shows effort, right? Like I can't draw, but I'm gonna try. Like I'm gonna try for you and stuff, and maybe something if I portray it in a certain way, it's gonna make sense to you. So I that is not what I sent him. It's so much better. It's like obviously they're the ones that are good at this, right? So let them take a stab at it. Whereas like I would say Polaris was like pretty close, kind of like meet in the middle. It had a lot of the same elements, but he just took his Milos twist on it and just of course made it like infinitely better. So just don't get married. You said it perfectly. Don't get married to your concept because at the risk of it suffering, like let
mm,
them do their thing because they're good at this for a reason.
exactly. Have you found that your either your tastes or preferences for hats has kind of changed after kind of working on a couple?
It's a good question. I think the way I would say it is in general now for Clink, I do look at like for pre-orders, I'm more tactful in looking at something and thinking like how would that embroider as
Yep.
opposed to just liking it. Whereas before I was just like it, like it. And Clink does an awesome job. I'm not gonna say like I've gotten some and thought, like this is just okay, right? It's very few and far between you're disappointed in how something comes out, or it's just not how you expected. So I would say more so it's giving me an appreciation for when something is like when it's on the pre-order stage as to how it finishes, right?
Yeah.
Because even you look at this design, Arctos on the on his IG on Austin's IG, and of course it's flat, right? It's a design, and I had meant, and he had even said this isn't how I pictured it. I thought this would be raised, this would be flat, so on and so forth. But then like, look, this is so good.
Yeah.
So I think I look at it more as like from that lens. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like once you start getting more and more Clink pieces or even like grandiose pieces, in terms of like their work with minor league teams, and you can see like, holy, there's like it's not just flat and raised. There's like levels of raised and levels of flat and kind of different textures and stuff like that. So kind of just studying like what was done before to figure out what you could do in the futures. Definitely something that people should do. But in terms of like dream collaborations, do you have like any artists that like you know you would like if it were everything were easy and
Yeah.
um if everything was easy, like who would you work with?
Well, I mean, if everything was easy, you want me to just shoot my shot. Like, I'd love to work with Casey.
Okay.
Like, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to just pick his brain about just all of this, right? And I love the episodes you do with him and stuff, getting those perspectives. Um, yeah, like just thinking, even your packs, like your fresh colorway packs and Cat Fiend, and I know we got some coming up too, like me, but like with Aaron's, and I think like that would just be so cool to take previous awesome designs and give like an opinion on a color or a theme and the side patches, all that stuff. I think that would be pretty cool if we're being honest,
Yeah.
like to work with them on something like that. Um, but the kind of kiss ass answer, but is real, dude. Like I really do think that I'm lucky to have and like like will work with other artists. I just have like a definite respect for what they do. I think it's so cool, and I don't know if you feel the same. But for me, like I'm not artistic, so
Yeah.
I there's other things that I could be good at that I am good at, but it is not like it's not art. And so I'm
Yeah.
always just like amazed at how what they use as their medium to convey their thing is so cool to me. So, and that's not a brown nose answer. It's legit. Like
No, that's awesome.
yeah, I do respect them. So yeah, maybe like Casey or something. I will say, trend wise, I've really been liking some of the stuff Ryan Simmons has been putting out. Like,
Hmm.
for sure. Um, yeah, like I think he's super dope. I he just dropped one on IG the other day, that turtle that's kind of like in the same series as the koi and the shark, like the dangerous waters, like stuff like that is just unreal to me how simplistic seemingly it is, but the depths of it, and like because we have koi, you can you can kind of see how that's going to embroider, and it's just like so good. Yeah, and his forest rays,
Oh, that
like,
thing.
might be my favorite hat from last year. Just like
It feels like those kind of like holographic pictures where like it changes depending on the angle you look at it.
totally.
That thing embroiders good. I mean, what? Yeah, like if you're not doing fresh colorways, like another kind of like cool way to explore and potentially looking at doing it next year too, or I mean, next year's already this year, but would be like to just do like 2.0s of things that they've already done, but just in different styles, art styles,
Yeah,
stuff like that. So,
that'd be dope.
yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm kind of, well, I'm not gonna reveal too much,
We'll
but yeah, like,
chat after. We'll chat after.
yeah. But just finding like iconic pieces, that the artist can redo in a different art style,
Yeah.
or a different perspective, or a different character to just add to it. I just think it would be so cool.
Totally.
But yeah, all right, cool.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, happy New Year. We're back 2025. But
Yeah.
let's get into what happened this week at Clink Room. So, there was a fresh colorway drop. I believe. How did it work out? I think the VIP was New Year's Eve, and the actual drop was New Year's Day. I think that's kind of how it worked out. No, the drop was New Year's Eve because it dropped on Tuesday, but the VIP was the 30th.
Right.
So, Audubon. Audubon.
Audubon.
I don't know. It's got to have something to do with birds. So there's this little 6-pack of birds. Looks like stone blue, and each one has a specific color within the patch and undervisor. Are you a fan of kind of the fresh colorways and kind of how they've been rolling them out? And what have kind of been your favorite ones, if any?
Yeah. So for sure, I think a cool thing, Clink seems to be at this cool spot now where because they are growing and have been around for years, they can re-release like designs maybe some of the new like us newbies didn't have a chance at grabbing. And yeah, albeit in a different colorway, but so and then with respect to side patches, I'm like a very I think just easygoing dude. It will never I will never not buy a hat I like because of a side patch.
Yeah.
There are some designs, right? Like I think Clink does such a good job that I love having just the design be the focus, like the logo. So I would prefer without, for being honest. But like looking at these just look so cohesive and kind of like pretty. Like this is a pretty pack. These are all like very well done. I love that the side patch color in the writing on the logo mirrors not only the UV but
Something
elements
in
of
the front
of the bird too. Like that's so cool. I know there's a bunch of people in the community that are just like super into birds, so they have to be going crazy for this drop, especially with the difference in all the colors and stuff too. So yeah, this is a cool pack. I love that. Is it Capistrano? So
the J Max one.
Yeah. So that the rust is crazy in not only in the logo but on the tips of the wings and stuff. So like that parallel is super awesome.
Yeah. Well, we could break them down. So here.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with Capistrano.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Flamingo Paradise and Great Blue Heron.
Yeah. So I think these are all cool. I know Rafael does a lot of birds. He's probably pretty stoked at these. Yeah, the Capistrano, like not only for the symmetry in the wings, right? Like that is like such a symmetrical design, but that rust is really cool. That copper pack they did a little while back. I know that was a little bit maybe of a funkier colorway at face value, but I did get the Kong, the Samurai Kong of that pack, and that copper goes off like in hand. So rust, copper, like those look so cool. Like I'm definitely a fan of like metallic-ish looking threads.
And that was one of the comments Casey gave me when I submitted him my pack of I essentially gave him 50 hats. I'm like, here, pick what you want, and he essentially made 2 packs out of it. He's like, a lot of metallics. I'm like, just run them, man, just run them,
dude. And good for you because they're so good. And like in like you said, looking at forest rays, that it's like the same effect. Like when you have those metallic threads on these hats, it just makes whatever it is pop so much more. So I love that it's 2 spots there. Flamingo Paradise. That's a nice, easy going, easy breezy design there. That looks like the script is like the same as the water under there, so that's cool. And I love so on the Great Blue Heron, I love that lake effect, like how the water
kind of like
like you're looking through a sunset. So cool. I love that little trick. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, my only kind of criticism of this one out of the 3, I feel like the Flamingo Paradise patch is a little bit washed out. It just needs a little bit more contrast within the patch in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, they do look strong. and the thing with kind of same colorway packs is I feel like people aren't gonna. I mean, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But I don't feel like people are gonna want to buy like 5 of them or 4 of them. You just pick the one you want.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're kind of relying on the fact that they would have to really love the design or really love birds, since it's all the same color. So like, I'm sure that's why yours were different too in your packs. So I totally get that.
Well, to be honest, I didn't even know like this was going to be an option when I just submitted them. I just kind of did. I just kind of did a mishmash of stuff.
Yeah.
But now we're looking at swallows, a word I can't pronounce. Hitzlin and Macaw Paradise by again Half by L.
Yeah, so even in that Macaw Paradise, the pink in that patch just helps that pop even more, right?
Yeah.
The pink in the flamingo may have helped it a little bit. But swallows, I mean, super timeless logo, right? Like I think of the traditional tattoos. That's exactly what I look at when I see that. And then, the colors, sorry if I mispronounced this, I would say like huitzilin. The colors on that, the green, that looks really cool, look really, really good. Yeah, so sure. These are like very, very cool colors, very like fun, very fun pack.
Yeah, it's interesting you went and kind of singled out J Matt's piece because that was my lone pick. And so from far, it's a pretty looking bird. It's nice or whatever. But like once you get closer and you see the levels of embroidery that they're able to achieve, and I know sometimes I don't love symmetrical designs, but J Matt's does a great job of symmetrical design work. But like,
it's so good
just to see the level of detail within this one, and then the patch works real well with that kind of rust color, white orange, Texas orange, and then I think they just did a great job.
Yeah, for sure. I think the patches, like the coolest patch side patches have been like the custom ones that like there was that one pack that had like unique patches to the actual. Yeah. Like that's so cool. And like shout out to Milos.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
I love that pack.
Really cool.
There's a couple 40 pieces in there, I think.
Yeah.
And then Murder Hornet, I think it was in that pack.
That one, the Murder Hornet, that hive above all, like so sick, like so good. Yeah.
All right, and now we got some designs. So these 6 next designs that we'll cover, their pre-order ends tonight at midnight. So kind of last chance for you to get them in at the reduced cost before they do send them into production. So we got Flanagan Studios Peace, Painted Horse, and Death Orbit by Heather. What are your thoughts on these?
Mr. Flanagan, with that Japanese scenescape. I mean,
he's been on a roll lately.
Yeah, he's got a lot in lately, for sure. shout out to Flanagan. I sent him one that I think could be really cool, but I know he's really busy. So like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna again just like while I'm on here, shoot my shot. What's up, man? I see you. He's had a lot come through. So
Yeah.
this is really cool, and yeah, a lot of detail on that little temple and everything. I love too when there is like in his case, there's a circle here, but like little elements kind of just creep out.
Break
Uh,
through. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, because it's like this is a border. However, like I'm gonna paint it the way I see it. So I love the little sword coming just out the edge of the tree, and of course a couple leaves. Super super cool piece. It's very thoughtful. Like I look at it and I'm like, okay, I get lost in this, and perfect colors work really well together. This is kind of funny. I think like for me, this is where to your point earlier about the name, right? He could have equally called this like it's going down or like destruction, right?
Anyone. Yeah. It
You would
wouldn't
think
matter.
that dude is gonna go storm that temple, and it's about to go down. So I'm just saying, like, but because it says peace, I'm like, yeah, I see that. It also conveys that. So
Yeah.
it's more about the design for me. Yeah, this looks really really good. Great job by him. I saw his kind of I guess sister piece or married piece or whatever just kind of dropped this week too. Those are probably look really cool together. Yeah, so shout out to him.
Yeah. Painted horse is the one for me on this page. It's just
Yeah.
something about it is just so unique. You don't really see a lot of kind of horses isolated too. And then it's got so many like different elements to it, like the background's real rad, the feathers and the kind of design that they used. And Marlon's involved, so you know it's gonna be good. And then Chad is just such a cool artist. Death Orbit's interesting too. It's got a material you don't really see that often. That kind of monotone camo. Um, to me, the theme's kind of a bit overdone, but you know it's a nice piece regardless. I mean, it's I can't fault it
Yeah.
for how it looks. It's just for me, it loses a couple like fractions of a point because it's kind of been done before, but you know it's still a nice piece.
Yeah, Heather knows this. Like I'm not, and I told you at the beginning, I'm not a big skull guy or anything, but yeah, it very recognizable logo. Clearly an astronaut helmet, skull, fractured, front piece, helmet, face shield. Definitely interested to see how the black camo comes out. Like that is a really cool piece to that, a really cool element. And then
Yeah,
yeah, definitely didn't mean to skip over painted horse because like you, this is also my favorite of the bunch.
yeah,
Um, I definitely gravitate to a lot of Marlin stuff. My grandparents, great grandparents live in Oklahoma on Chickasaw land, so I kind of
okay,
did I love like all the stuff that he makes specific to his culture and to where he's from. I definitely rock a lot of what Marlin's doing. He also too has been crushing it lately, like him and Chad, right? Like I know Matriarch was one of my favorite pre-orders in recent memory. Both versions, yeah. Love the paint on the horse. Not a big horse guy, even though I'm an animal person. Not a big horse guy, and so if I really like this, that's saying a lot. Yeah, I think it was super well done. I love that blue outline. One thing in particular I noticed about this too, shout out to Chad, is one thing you kind of always mention is in terms of anatomy is when you see an animal and it's very clear that they're like from a side profile, it'd be very clear that they have one more right of the other limb
yeah,
or whatever it is. He did a great job making sure that limb in the background is very prominent and obvious. It's there, still shadowed. It's slightly smaller, so he like crushed this too. There's so
oh
many little elements. Awesome. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, Chad's. I mean, he's designed some of the most rad logos in and out of Clink, and just a powerhouse artist for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and moving forward, we got Gentle Warrior, Gahara Merita, and the Kong's Crew by Ink Park. What are your thoughts on this? These three.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, I love this is a kind of a well-versed group, kind of like a diverse group. So Kong's Crew, Think Park. Initially, I saw it and I just thought that's cool. Like and also it's the skull of Kong. Like I'm gonna gravitate to the Kong stuff, right? And then I saw kind of like the tattered flag and everything, and I just thought I love purple and black, especially together. But initially, I was just kind of like, okay, it's cool. But that's one in particular that once I kept revisiting it, I was like, nah, this is sick. And And he, like, the way that he does stuff, like I've heard him speak, is like with such intentionality in terms of like how it's going to embroider, right? That's like one of the main things he thinks about. Then I kept looking at this, and I was like, yeah, this is going to embroider so good.
Yeah.
The way that yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, the way that the flag is tattered. You know, I didn't initially catch the pencil as like the pole, the that. So it's so good, and so yeah, I obviously got this one as well. I'm super stoked to how this comes out. I like that one a lot. Yeah, Gentle Warrior. It's cool. I really love that color green. I grew up wearing a lot of A's hats, so like dark green is definitely a go-to for me. Yeah, it definitely conveys like he does look like he's just kind of kneeling or whatever, or sitting down with that little sword. Red pandas are pretty cute by nature, so I'm glad he called it Gentle Warrior and not like, you know, Haas or Big Boss Warrior or whatever.
No.
And then yeah, Quitara Muerta. So Gabe, is that Vice Blue? You think?
It's like it's hard to say, man. It's like a teal almost too, right? Okay. It's it's close to Vice, I would say. Yeah,
he has. Yeah, he has. I was wondering because he has bare face, just the same. It's like Vice Blue and on a light crown.
He loves that color though, or something around that color. He loves
exactly. That's where I was going. Is like that. I can see this, and I'm like Gabe, because I know he really likes that color and everything. Yeah, it's cool. Like I said before, not the biggest like skull guy or whatever, but this is I'm sure a lot of people like music fans and you know, skull fans and stuff will gravitate to this. It does give me a little bit of Coco vibes, like that Disney movie and stuff. But yeah, it's cool details. I see the skull at the top of the guitar there as well. Yeah, and shout out to Gabe, dude. Speaking of like talking with artists and everything, so we actually went to the same college, and he's from SoCal, not far from where I grew up. Man, what a nice dude. Like,
oh, he's the best.
Oh my gosh. I was almost like, is this guy real? He's so nice.
Did you knew him in college? Or
no. We went to the same college.
Okay.
No. Yeah. We went to the same college, Cal State Fullerton. So
that's a huge school. Yeah, that's a huge school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you say huge in SoCal. We don't think of it as that big because look, we got UCLA, USC, like San Diego State, as I'm sure Casey can attest to. A lot of my friends went to San Diego State, Long Beach State. So for SoCal wise, it's not like super big, but it is pretty coincidental. But yeah, no, we didn't know each other in high school. But the way that he interacts with me, you would think we knew each other because he's like so nice. And
you probably know a lot of people like him though. Like
yeah. He I remember after one Critz, he like messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, dude, you get in and stuff? Like, you know, congrats." I'm just like, man, this guy is so nice. So shout out to Gabe. But this is a cool three pack as well.
For sure, and kind of to circle back to Ink Park's piece, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think that's gonna embroider so cool. I think there's gonna be like potentially 4 levels of depth to it. I think like a flat outline, then you got the pencil, then you got like the shadowy parts, then you got the main flag, then you got the skull on top. So I think the way they're gonna layer that is gonna be insane. And you talked about catching the pencil on the left, which is the hat's right, but there's also 2 pencils within the crossbones, which is pretty damn interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, John, one of the first words that come to my mind to kind of describe him, just professional artist, just rad, and just an awesome dude. And I think that one in particular is gonna go hard. Gabe is kind of just staying in that kind of like that wheelhouse that he likes, like the Scully stuff, the grays with the mint blues, and you kind of just see him do that. But in terms of Wynn's one, I would say Wynn's colorway is the best out of all 3. That kind of dark green, gold, and almost this kind of a red color. I think they all work well with each other. And he didn't use like a white; it's kind of like a creamy white, off white. So. It's a nice little pack here.
That's cool you mentioned that about Ink Parks, because that was going to be how I ended. My next question was going to be like, yeah, how do you think they're going to embroider that? So that's so funny you said that. Yeah.
And speaking of masterclass of embroidery, Vandals is back. This one was one I feel that people slept on so heavy on the mock-ups, but when they saw how it played out in embroidery, everyone sent out in search of like, hey, who bought this? I need it. I know a lot of people skipped on the original, but here you go. You can get it now, potentially in this kind of like camel and black color with a lot of copper and yellow highlights. What are your thoughts on this shock drop?
Looks like the Padres Vandals from a little bit. Like I know like Casey likes Padres. I saw you guys at the Padre game and stuff. San Diego, but yeah, it's cool. Like you're right. I have seen. Well, first of all, shout out to Austin. But yeah, I'd seen a lot of like on the buy sell trade page, the original, the OG Vandal. I'd seen a lot of people like searching for that and everything, and it's definitely the definition of a classic. There's several different colorways. It's like seems like it's kind of like a timeless design and logo and everything. I do really like these classic side patches, and especially when it's married with the design. Again, of course, like I like when there's just like a parallel there. So that yellow and brown and everything, I think it just works really well. So yeah, this is a pretty cohesive joint and another version of Vandals. So that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. I can't get enough of these ones. So I mean, obviously picked it up. So
there you go.
The how he's wearing like this balaclava ski mask is insane. Like each ridge is embroidered separately.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, the hat's cool. The patch is awesome. Side patch black, green under. Can never go wrong with a Kelly green under. I think my favorite under.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, green then gray. Just from liking baseball hats, essentially. Yeah. All right. So now let's get into the fun part, crits. So these next 20 designs will be going into Monday Morning Critz for you guys to vote. Remember to vote on which design you want to see hit pre-order on Friday. So these will be up for voting tomorrow, Monday. It was interesting too. It was the first time in a long time that I remember that like 6 designs went straight from crits right to pre-order. Like I don't think we see that often. But now that Clink hasn't done crits in a couple weeks, I feel like there's like been this build up. So we'll see kind of how the queue works moving forward. But it's we're like he's got a lot to choose from, essentially, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So all right, let's go. Number 1, Kraken Revenge, Josh Foles. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones, right, where you could again just totally tell this is. I see a little bit of Phil in here too, but which is obviously a compliment. Yeah, like this is a cool piece. I love the way that the tentacle is kind of splashing through that flag there. Clearly, the Kraken definitely won this battle, so name totally makes sense. And this is a pretty like, to me, this like all black on whether it's teal or like a blue, like a light blue and stuff. It looks so good. Like on the hats I have that are similar to this colorway, it looks so good. So yeah, I love the little fangs on the 2 tentacles. Everything's like super purposeful. The suction cups and everything proportional. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks awesome.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of damage at the top of his head.
Oh yeah, little chunk.
Yeah. He's kind of sticking the tentacle, giving you like a middle finger through the flag, waving a white flag. This is an awesome piece. And what's cool about this piece is I feel like there's a lot of like recolor potential. I can see this hat being done with like an orange kind of squid, maybe like an orange black, almost like a tiger colorway. You could see it kind of done in multiple ways. Josh Foles gets a lot of credit for being like this kind of horror / gory guy, but I feel like he does it in like a really fun and kind of playful way, which is like really unique to his style. But off to a good start so far. Number 2, Magpie. Jake, see Jake smile. Jake Smith is back with the Magpie. What are your initial thoughts here?
Yeah, well, shout out to Jake. He was on a couple weeks ago. I thought he was positive. Seems like a really nice guy. So we chat a little bit here and there. But yeah, I love. Is the crown in purple too?
It looks like it's purple. Yeah, purple and green.
Kind of like a Joker colorway. Yeah. I think those colors are super, super dope. I do like purples and stuff though too. Yeah, this is cool. Like, we had talked about Capistrano earlier, like the symmetry in the wings and stuff, and the ability to, when that, like, if it were to embroider, like the depth and the layers and stuff, it would look really good. So yeah, I mean, this is super cool. Love the colors. Like think the magpie. You think like is it like, are we looking at it? There's no eye because it was just like the shadow or in the back, like the way we're looking at it.
I think because their eyes are actually black. That's why.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to see it anyway.
There's maybe room for a little trick there to like convey that. But
maybe like a glare or something, some type of
yeah, something like that. But no, it's super cool. And yeah, like again, he's been, since I have been like following Clink for a little bit now, he's one that's, just he's posting more and more and doing different stuff. And I think that that's so cool. Like, I just like commend him for continuing to put himself out there. And I know he's gotten some through recently and stuff too. So like, congrats to him. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. So magpies are technically from Europe and Asia. They kind of rank on the high scale in terms of intelligence. So they're one of the only kind of animals that kind of pass the mirror test. So they understand what they're looking at when they're looking in a mirror.
Okay.
So they can use tools, imitate human speech, grieve, play games, and work in teams. The funny thing is when I've heard of a magpie, I've heard of it in an Australian sense. So Australians call birds magpies,
right?
But magpies are not related to the birds in Australia, if that makes any sense. So, cool little tidbit there for you. Yeah, just strong piece. Colorways nice and beautiful. I think I side with you a little bit. Maybe just add like a little white dot, a little speck, just to show where the eye would be. So it's less of a, like right now it almost looks like what's that thing? It's that little animal in the water that can that's super venomous in Australia.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about.
I do know what you're getting at, yeah, but we both can't. Yeah.
What the heck is it called? Now it's gonna bother me. Australia. They call it like the Blue Death or something. Blue ringed octopus? No. Is that it? No, here it is. No, the blue dragon. That's what they're called.
Blue dragon.
Yeah, it's kind of shaped. I mean, obviously it's a bird, but it's kind of shaped in that thing. But yeah, nice little piece here, Jake. Moving forward, we got the Neon Moon sound waves.
Yeah, I remember him posting this. Well, first of all, colors just so on point. Like, love this. Like, love that dark green. Works well with the under too. The under matching the moon. This is crazy cohesive, like color wise, for sure. This is really, I don't mean to sound surprised. This is really good. I love the way that, again, the tricks, right? Like that side of the water in front of him is reflecting the moon, but not back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I really like this, dude. It looks like the logo's pretty big, but just on the initial, right? But definitely conveys a really cool scene. No, dude, I like this a lot. Shout out to Zach. This is cool.
For sure. He's got it in like this Seattle Mariners kind of navy and pine green.
I love it.
My small critique on this one is I do enjoy the art. I do think the art's well done. The shape isn't really, like what's holding it in isn't really doing it for me. I don't know. He's got to figure out a way how to either hold this image together. And I don't think like a simple circle would suffice in this case. Just drawing a huge oval wouldn't really do nothing. But I mean, it is a nice piece. The problem is your canvas is a hat, and where your design ends isn't where like the hat ends. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just. I wish you can just do a whole panel and just kind of show the scape. But I think it just needs a creative way to kind of hold it in or hold it together, whether it's like a silhouette of a letter or some type of shape. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is a cool piece.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen kind of Flanagan use like shapes like a helmet or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering if there was like room where he could actually incorporate the moon into more of like the shape that holds the design, and you could still keep the reflection off the dude and the water and stuff. So it might be something a little tricky to work with there.
Yeah. I mean, you could play with perspective, maybe have it in like a glass bottle potentially. And then this is all being held in by a glass bottle, or I mean, we've seen other people use kind of like a like a fortune teller's ball, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
He could figure it out. But in terms of art, I mean, it's cool to see Zach kind of evolve and get better. And this is for sure like the stuff you talked about, which is like high level, which is like advanced lighting. Now he's showing like advanced lighting technique and stuff's backlit, and it's a rad piece for sure.
Nothing I could draw for sure. 100%.
I couldn't even tell someone how to draw this
for sure.
All right, moving forward. Land of Fire, Milos. Speaking of landscapes being held in by some type of silhouette, see, like this is another example. Right. It's kind of random in what it is, but at least like there's a good like beginning and end to it.
Yeah.
We see 3 dragons. I'm thinking of like Daenerys' dragons, from Game of Thrones. Yeah, this is a cool piece. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, aside from, I'm just thinking because it's super relevant right now. Dragons, this has kind of like a Nosferatu vibe.
Okay.
Where, going to storm the castle. But I mean, yeah, and it also reminds me of he had one very similar with the dragons that was orange flame, looking out into the valley, right? So, I mean, this is really good. Those colors really pop. Similar to Flanagan's piece, like that castle is pretty like. It will be pretty small and far away and everything, but yeah, like it's just really good. His stuff is just striking. I mean, this is just really cool, aesthetically pleasing to look at, and a lot of detail. Yeah, it looks like he's kind of leaning into this style lately, huh? Like this vibe. So I like it.
I almost wish it was reversed. So like, don't worry so much about the landscape, and just have like a real rad picture of like a 3/4 knight or some type of knight riding in, and then you can just have like that kind of like castle stuff in the background. If you really want to do the dragons, just have them as silhouettes as you see it. But I don't know. I just want the other perspective. Like we saw it with the pre-order that just landed or just got put into the shop with the Triceratops on fire, where it's just you can see the image is super nice, super well drawn, and right in your face, as opposed to so far back. Like me, I'm getting drawn in from the more so from the knight. Like give me the knight, maybe super rad horse. He's kind of on fire or whatever. And then the knight riding in. I don't know. I just rather see that kind of stuff than this stuff. This stuff is nice. It's just that you're shrinking a whole mural down to like a baseball size.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Milos anyways, so he knows that. All right, Discovery, Levi and Junker continuing their cryptozoology series. So
yeah,
the Yeti, Bigfoot, Sasquatch is chilling with the monarch butterfly. What do you think on this one?
Yeah, I commented when he posted this. Levi is one of those dudes where I would say I chat with a good amount. Another just super down to earth, just a dude's dude, man. We chat, even hats and family life and stuff. So yeah, shout out to Levi, super nice guy. I would love to work with him sometime. I don't have an idea that's ready for him yet. But I commented on this. I love it. Yeah, it's super cool. Sasquatch and like Yetis definitely have like a place, like a stake in Clink, huh? It's like a good representation of them. So this is cool. I mean, a pensive Sasquatch, right? Like, and then again, like with a little butterfly. Hey man, like Sasquatch got feelings too, dude. Sasquatch got feelings too. So
exactly,
I love it. It's a different take on it, right? Like we typically see more monster and like mean and like big, imposing looking. And it's like, you know what, dude? Sasquatch has feelings as well. No, I love this. I love the take on it. Again, like a broken record. I love green, forest green, dark green, Kelly green. I love greens too. So yeah, I like the colorway too. This colorway feels like very Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Right. It's got that kind of gum bottom under visor. Yeah, this one's rad.
Super rad. Yeah, hope it gets in.
All right. Blue Raz, Seamus. This one is like the 3rd or 4th one in his kind of apocalyptic series. This one is done in the form of Blue Raz. So that's like a Mexican street kind of cotton candy that they eat down there. I think I was talking to him a couple of days ago. He originally said he wanted to do this in the baby blue and pink colorway, but he knows that it's kind of overdone and it might not vote well. So here we see the darker blue and that kind of almost magenta-ish pink in this. But then he captured the baby blue within the design as opposed to the hat.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think the colors are awesome. So great choice. And I do agree with that sentiment. I think if it were more traditional colors, it probably would feel like it's been done before or dated or whatever. So this is you and I have been talking about artists and how they render things and stuff. And I know because you say all the time, but yeah, some of the ways that he conveys his medium is crazy. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
These look like, because in his other alpaca pieces have had like clouds and stuff too, like the apocalypse and stuff. This is like a version of that, but it really does look like fluffy cotton candy, and the eyes for gumballs, it look really good too. So no, this is super fun. This is super cool. I could see this doing well. It's very obvious, what it is. It's got a +1 double meaning and everything. I think the colors are really good, and not a combo you see like super often. So there should be some intrigue there. I like it. Yeah, it's fun. It does remind me of Ice Cream Kong.
Okay.
Like a Kobo. It's very similar colors, and except like there's a light blue on the bill, but it had gumball for eyes, and I think most of the Kong is like light blue and dark blue, but it's good. It's cool. It's fun.
Yeah, I love looking at his art because it kind of just breaks my brain a little bit in terms of like how I picture things or how I expect things to be composed and put together. And he just has no outlines, and he's just layers in the detail. But yeah, this one's real cool.
One thing you had said like a while ago, I think, is like because I feel the same, is I was big on watching like Ink Master, and like no matter what, it was like
black outline, yeah.
Like hold it in together, stands the test of time. So you're right. Like sometimes when you see the stuff, it's just like when you say break your brain, it forces you to look at something different because there's usually no outline, like no line. So that is good on him. That's cool.
Yeah, and he's kind of like made his mark, and that kind of is like his kind of calling now, and we're seeing it work out, and what do we know, right? Looks like two real good artists kind of teamed up together. So Smartifus and Chimuko Ephra got together for Del Sol. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this does have that kind of feel of like Mexican culture, logo, colors, everything. There's a lot of detail. Definitely reminds me a little of, not trying to bring this back to Kongs all the time, but Dia de los Kong by Flanagan. Just all the little flowers and everything, and all those lines in there and stars and stuff. Of course, love the color, purple, green under, purple and black. Yeah, colors are like work super well together. I don't know if you're looking that up to like get more of like a meaning behind it and stuff, because I don't know what it is, but
yeah. Well, I'm pulling the post up, and I'm seeing the multiple colorways that they did. So this wasn't the only colorway. So this is the purple and black. They also did all black and an all green one, which is pretty rad. So it's saying that they're pulling inspiration from the Talavera pottery and Mexican hand painted tile.
Okay.
So it's a cool piece. You don't normally see Aaron Bird and Ephra kind of team up, but I think they're from the same kind of area. In Cali, so they're all homies.
Yeah,
I feel like
I've seen posts with either them, with Omar, or
with Caffeine, and so yeah. So it's good to see them kind of work together, and Aaron's definitely one of my and Ephra definitely one of my favorites. And to kind of see them kind of team up is a cool surprise
for sure.
All right. Moving forward, we got number 8, Shock by Milos. Milos is back again. Looks like an electric eel, almost like a moray eel. I'm not too good with my eel taxonomy, but we got Shock by Milos. What do you think here?
Yeah, Yes, this is sick.
Mhm.
I love letter form and everything, and so yeah, the S, like the eel curls into an S.
Yep.
The fact that it's curling around a lightning bolt,
Yep.
right? Like your standard lightning bolt. Uh, super good, like super good. I would definitely buy this, and the little charges, like accent piece around it. It looks mean. And then I remember him putting this up the other day with like the colorway options and everything. This is definitely the right one. This is the winner. So yeah, I like most everything about this. I think this would embroider sick.
Yeah. I just think number one, I'm right with you. I love letter form. Sometimes they don't vote well, sometimes they don't sell well, unfortunately. For this one, in terms of the design, I'm just thinking of like future designs. Instead of making that a negative space, I would still color it in
Yeah.
the same
Okay.
color, like make it chrome, that chrome white, but
Okay.
having the seams kind of seep through the design, I think you're going to take away from it.
What
Because
about even what about even like outlining that with like gold metallic or something? Just like that
oh
piece,
yeah, yeah, you can use that
right?
same
The same electric. Yeah.
yellow, yeah, and then just have the fill be that same white. You can still achieve the same effect, but just in terms of future colorways, like let's say you were to run this on a black hat, you just want to be able to turn
Mm.
that kind of lightning bolt a different color just for the future. I do like how it's composed here.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of thinking out loud, and I always have my like fresh colorway thinking
Yeah. Yeah.
goggles on.
Yeah. That's very
But
nice.
yeah,
That's a good
so
point.
it's a rad piece. It's a
Hmm.
rad piece. It's got that Liberty mint Tiffany blue and that green will work together. Green and gold are kind of green and yellow, I believe, are close to me complementary. I know yellow and purple are for sure, but the A's have used it forever, like just green and gold.
My favorite baseball hat of all time.
Yeah,
Ace.
it just works.
It
Yeah.
works.
All right, Dead End, Point Exco, and Superhero Hines. We know this is your favorite subject matter.
Right.
What are you thinking here?
Yeah. So having said that, preface that, yeah, definitely. And that's the other thing. Like, watching these more and seeing more hats get made and stuff. Yeah, it definitely doesn't have to be like my favorite medium to also just appreciate. So, having said that, get a good look at this. Now, I'm just asking. I'm wondering, do you think the road is supposed to be his tongue? Like, do you think that's built in, or am I just seeing that way? It kind of looks like, since his mouth is open and the shape of that road almost looks like his
Yeah,
tongue. Yeah, but I could
I
just.
don't think they meant it to be a
Oh,
tongue.
gotcha.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, I kind of see that way, but it may not be their intent and everything. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, the colors. You and I talked about that. My Death Dog hat, like those are colors that always work really well together. I get it. This is one of those ones where the word play meshes with the design, clouds and everything. Yeah, it's cool. And I also definitely know and admit Reapers do well. Like
Yeah,
this subject material does really well. So I get that. Yeah, it's cool. Overall, it's pretty cool.
I love a good Reaper design.
Yeah.
For me though, like we're at this point now. If you're gonna do one, like it's got to be like really elevated
Yeah.
and really kind of thought out and done in a different way. This tries to achieve that. I just don't know if the execution is right there. My issue with this one is it's so symmetrical. It just makes me think like, did you just draw half and just flip it?
Mm.
And then the road doesn't really make much like sense to me because like you're I guess it's not dead end, it's deadened. I guess I don't know. Is it deadened or dead end?
It's dead
Like
end. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a completely open road, which is like different than what a dead end road is, you know? So I don't know. I kind of take issue with the
Yeah.
name a little bit. I just think like with stuff like smoke and stuff like that, when it's just exactly like when it's just flipped like that, like it just seems a little like you just could have just went a little further with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a rad idea potentially. Like, I would just make the skull more of it. Like maybe the composition is off. Like maybe if it was like a side profile of a reaper and it's kind of flowy, and then it's like the road is leading into the death, as opposed to like which way are we going? Are we going away from it or toward like I don't know. Like it's
Right.
yeah.
I feel you.
I think the concept's there. I just think the execution needs a little bit of fine tuning. Maybe just play with the position and the composition of the piece. But yeah, it's kind of shaped like a club too, like the suit from Cards. It's almost shaped like a club, almost like a key, a club spade almost. I don't know. It's just
You're right. Now I see that.
It's there. It's almost there, but it's not there. If that makes any sense.
I got you. Yeah.
But yeah, but also two great guys, Point Expo, Superhero Hines. Nothing personal. Just I think it needs a little tweak. Panda Path by Win Studios. So we just saw his Red Panda Samurai katana wielding Red Panda. So now we got the kind of conventional panda. To me, whenever I see like a humanoid panda, I always think of like Kung Fu Panda, and this one is definitely not eating his rice. He's a little too slim for me. But what are your thoughts?
Keto Kung Fu Panda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. This is like that olive kind of crown.
Yeah, olive, rifle green, kind of colorway.
Reminds me a lot of that Sumo Kong that came out. That in terms of colorway, the olive, and then it had a red under and everything. So yeah, it's cool. I like his armor a lot, and I like like the red kind of accent pieces dangling. He's clearly in motion and stuff. And you're right. There's something for me, like, of course, this is just your interpretation when you look at designs and everything, but like, it is odd seeing a svelte panda. Like it almost just feels not right.
Yeah.
But he looks intense. Yeah, I can see his little red eyes and everything. And yeah, like I said, I like his armor. The way like he's jumping, the knee is cracked. There's like several elements that just like work for what he was trying to achieve and everything. So I think it's cool. Yeah, is this? I'm just wondering if this is part of a series too, because the Red Panda with Gentle Warrior and then Panda Path and everything. Wondering if it's going to be like successive designs like that.
Yeah, his hand is a bit jacked too.
The one holding
index finger, the one holding. I just feel like the pose is cool, but it doesn't make any sense. Is he pool cubing me in the like? Why are we? Yeah, what are we doing here? So, yeah. And I need to know why a little bit. Like we kind of like Gentle Warrior. Okay, cool. Red Panda. He's kind of gentle, but he's holding a katana. Like sometimes if it's too literal, I don't know. It's just
doesn't work for you. I get it. Yeah. Or at the very least, you want to know more. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tricky Tiki. What are your thoughts here? Looks like Point X goes back with his kind of a mask series.
Yeah, so I am a frequenter of tiki bars. A little side note, love myself a tiki bar.
Okay.
And have family in Kauai too. So yeah, I love the colors of this. And it looks like he just took off the original tiki mask and it's kind of grinning underneath it. Love the colors. And this is something where like symmetry really works, right? Obvious to the design in terms of like his colors and the way that he's portrayed and painted and everything. So I will say definitely like the design. I am not the biggest fan of the colorway, and I totally applaud trying to like just go like wild with it because it kind of fits like on the brand of like what Tricky Tiki and stuff. But
yeah,
this one I would vote for and I would consider getting. I would have a hard time rocking that combination of colors. So, but it's got it's fun. It's got some cool stuff going on for sure.
Yeah, it's almost got like a that mustard yellow from the Pirates. kind of the brown, almost Padre kind of brown. But then I feel like that neon green at the bottom throws off the design. And I don't know if the mask is different enough from the face. So like he did one where it was almost like a V for Vendetta looking one. I think one with like an alien, maybe one like Laugh Now Cry Later. I just feel like there's not enough difference. It's like what Tiki Man is holding Tiki Mask, like it's just not different enough. Maybe make one kind of smiling, make one angry, maybe. I don't know. Also, I don't know enough about Tiki stuff to be like, just do it this way.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the images are too similar. So it just looks like two Tiki guys now.
Gotcha. You got more contrast there. Expression.
Yeah, or I need to know why though. Like I'm like now, like I've gotten to the point where I have so many hats that if you're gonna compel me to buy, I need a reason. Like give me a reason to be behind this. And if it's a good enough reason, it's obvious. Like we'll get a lot of hats, but here I'm just wondering like where it fits in his kind of like he started that line of mask series, right? So it's like what are we doing? So like that's my only thing. Like the art's good, it looks rad. But yeah, Point Exco. Number 12, Rick Clifton, with this kind of like owl ninja-y kind of owl. What do you think here?
Do you think this is just like would you see, you've been doing this for long, do you see waves of similar like themes? Yeah, right. I feel because even just from what we talked about on the show, it seems like a lot of
like the Japanese warrior stuff is kind of seeping through right now.
Having said that, Rick is definitely one where we were talking earlier about how I see something on the computer, and then now that I've seen a lot of his in hand, that I know he incorporates that into his design, like how it's going to embroider, especially given his background and stuff, right? So I do like this, and I do think it would look good embroidered. It's just kind of like a little cute owl thing, but maybe not so cute once you mess with them. And to your point, I think smoke, like fire, smoke, stuff like that is really hard to convey and draw and to look good. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like this looks pretty cool. Like this is a cool, like non-invasive way of smoke. It's just like simple, you know what it is. That'll give like Casey some depth to work with when he embroiders that. And I love that the outline is just straight up different from anything else in the design. Like I feel like this actually helps make it pop a little bit.
Yeah, I like the colorway a lot. It's like this kind of like graphite and lava red. For me, it's almost like he hates using black embroidery. That I wish he just used it in this case. Just lean into the black. I do like the smoke. I just kind of wish the smoke would kind of play with the depth of field a little bit more. Like, so you see how like it was behind him. I wish it kind of went over his foot a little bit, and then maybe in front of him, and then behind him, and then maybe like because like one side is much darker, so maybe even just have smoke on that side. Just kind of play with the smoke, so it's not just an afterthought and a bunch of squiggly stuff behind the thing. But yeah, man, I'm a big fan of Rick stuff. It's a cool piece. But if I'm gonna like criticize Win on like why do we have an owl holding a bow? Why do we have a panda holding a bow jumping at me? Like why do we have an owl holding a katana? I'm like, I don't know why. So it is a rad piece though. But yeah.
From a strategic standpoint, I don't know if Clifton is much of like a contrarian, but you could just start saying like we could just say like, man, I hate all black. Like, good thing he doesn't use all black, and then just reverse psychology. Maybe he'll start.
Yeah. I do like the colors though, but I just wish this had a little bit of black in it. Yeah. But he doesn't. I mean, he likes what he likes. He doesn't like using black, so it's just one of those things.
I can tell. Yeah, you brought it up before for sure.
Yeah. Josh Wolves got together with Donnie Discord, Donovan Creaturezoid, and we got Homely. So it looks like the witch got crunched with. Again, asking myself, what am I looking at? So the barn / house fell on the witch, who has talons.
Okay.
And that's the broom almost looks like a torch, but it's broom. I don't know. What are we looking at here?
Yeah. What is it that I'm thinking of where the house falls down on the witch? Is that like
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of
Wizard
Oz,
of
right?
Oz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so I just want to make sure I wasn't crazy. Okay, yeah. So maybe it's like kind of takes a little bit into that, but so that's like a dark green, right? Like it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, so I love the colors, dark green, black, and then some accent purple in the design and everything. So again, like we started talking about, like like horror-esque or just this kind of theme. It's not typically what I gravitate to, but like whatever it is, dude, it is definitely that, if that makes sense, right? Like he just like went for it, Josh, and so I think that there is like a big subset of people that gravitate towards these designs and will totally like this. Yeah, it's definitely funky in mostly good ways. Yeah, I mean, I'm not positive like what's even like other like what to
Yeah.
talk about with it, just because it's so kind of funky,
It's
but
so out there. Yeah.
it's
It's a
so
cool piece though.
oh, for sure, yeah. Like the stuff that he does, again, like it doesn't have to, you don't have to gravitate to it, but you just look at it and you're like, and this is still fun, to be clear. Like we were
Mhm.
talking about the Kraken. This is still fun. Like whatever the hell it is, it's definitely fun. So
It's definitely a conversation piece. So
oh,
the
for
way
sure.
that Donovan explains it, it's Baba Yaga, and they are peering from the
Oh,
door of her infamous chicken-legged house, a dwelling as eerie and unkept as its mistress. Yeah, I don't even know what he's talking about.
right.
A place of riddles, terror, and twisted bargains. It stalks the forest, daring the bold and foolish alike. Call it homely if you want, but here ugly is just the beginning of the tale.
Yeah. Baba Yaga is Russian, I think, right?
Okay, I have no clue.
The only reason I'm thinking of that is I'm thinking of the movie John Wick. Like they call him
Okay.
Baba Yaga, I think. But anyways, yeah, okay. Well, even having you read that to me, it makes sense. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, Slavic folklore.
Slavic, yes. Okay.
Okay. Um, she's described as repulsive or ferocious looking old woman who fries and eats children. Okay.
There you go.
It's probably the enemy in Hansel and Gretel, probably, right?
Okay. Yep. Well,
Um,
look, he
I
achieved
mean,
that.
they
Like,
achieved
right?
it, yeah. Now that we know, okay, all right, I get it now. All right. Relentless, Win Studio. What do you think?
Yeah, cool. It's definitely a pretty cool shark. Uh, I'm definitely one thing I like. One theme I like to, or I like elements of, is nautical.
Mhm.
I have like a big lighthouse tattoo on me and stuff, and so I like the actual wheel from the ship and stuff. So yeah, I mean, relentless. Yeah, I mean, cool. Like very makes sense. Relentless. Shark looks determined to do whatever it's doing. Waves are cool. Waves are another thing that I just, I'm not an artist to begin with, but I would just would not try. Like waves,
Yeah,
like super hard, and there's like a way you can pretty much always critique them. But I like the two elements together. Yeah, I think I saw a couple of his that were like in a water series or something like that. So it's cool. I like how he put a little bit of detail on the inside of the mouth too. Like you start to see the tongue and those little folds inside as well. But yeah, red eyes, cool. Yeah, it works. If this is your vibe, this definitely hits. Definitely there.
yeah, it's definitely an interesting piece. And yeah, you mentioned he did a couple. I think there was the Killer Waves, which was like the shark flowing through the skull wave thing, and then there was Sink or Swim, which is similar to this in the sense that it was a shark with a mast of a boat, and then now we got the shark with like a um, I guess the steering wheel of the ship, but maybe it kind of plays on it. To me, it reminds me of that Jacobo piece with the shark kind of eating the surfer guy, but with the wave with the shark, like the
Oh yeah,
composition reminds me
okay.
of that. Um, but yeah, uh, it's a cool piece. I just kind of wish there was more sometimes and like the substance of it.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, you can't deny that he's a good artist. You can't deny that what he does is cool. It's just sometimes I just wish there was a little bit more substance.
yeah. It's interesting. His stuff kind of resonates with, like I see, for instance, the buy sell trade page, right? I do see people like, yeah, gravitate to it and stuff. So like you said, if this is your jam,
Yeah.
yeah, there's like several elements to it that could be universal. Yeah, good artists.
He makes stuff that just looks cool. If you like, that's all you cared about,
I
cool
think
looking hat.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like if you just want like a cool looking hat, he's your guy.
Yeah.
All right, moving forward. 15. We got I'm a Pedarian. What? I don't even know. But
Muerte. Yeah.
yeah. But we got the spray painting Grim Reaper now. This is a way we haven't seen him kind of express his skull almost looks like a mask. But what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so you said it earlier, like if you're gonna do whatever it is, Skull Reaper and stuff, because it's so popular, it would behoove you to do it in a different way or a different style and stuff. And I do at least feel that way with this.
Yeah,
it's cool, and like I'm not familiar with this artist. I'm a Padrian, but
I'm a Padrian. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with their stuff, but this is a cool take on it. I mean, yeah, I like the spray paint can, as well as like obviously there's the paint blotches on the actual Reaper, the drip and everything. So that like makes sense. That clicks. I wish for a little bit of course like a variance in the under, right? Like, and to me, whatever that is, beetroot or pink, like seems like the obvious go-to there to switch that out, because then it complements the can and the button and everything. So it would have made it all pop more, to me at least. So, but this is a cool take on it. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of scrolling through his stuff. They have submitted a couple times already, which is cool. Obviously a guy from the West Coast. He described himself as someone where like his brand actually is like streetwear meets the streets, and where low riding becomes high art. So it's a cool piece. It's interesting how he's holding the spray can. Almost he should have the pose right where it's on the nozzle of the can, and it's not, and it's kind of just leaking, which kind of makes it a little bit awkward. But
yeah,
it's a cool piece. The colors are really unique. It reminds me of like those old San Antonio Spurs colors when they had that kind of like hot pink and green and teal and stuff like that. But a lot of their submissions, they're gonna have to play with kind of dumbing down the detail. A lot of the detail. I mean, this one they did that in this one, but some of their other ones were super hyper detailed, like the lowrider that he has and the kind of the sugar skull he has on his thing. But they did a great job kind of dumbing down this one. This one almost looks like a sticker.
Yeah, totally.
Like it reminds me of that Toki Duki brand. Whatever. Yeah.
I know what you're getting at. Yeah, that's the first thing I saw when I looked at that. Yeah.
Yeah, or even like skull candy almost. But all right, moving forward. Call the Wilds by Ink Park. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it is definitely wild.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. This definitely looks like him. He posts some of those like mascot types, but then just like gone wild, like kind of taken to another level and everything. Love the texture on the fur, those little lines. And so is this wolf or whatever just going so incredibly fast, is like warping skin off its fur off?
I guess he's crying.
Tears are going back. Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, yeah, like you had said earlier, like consummate professional. This is like I could see this embroidering super well. This is something if it's been done, I can't really, it doesn't come to mind. I don't remember. So it looks very like unique to its own thing. It's a cool take. Yeah, it is definitely wild. So it's cool.
Yeah. It looks like there's a small error on this. So it's supposed to be Call of the Wild. I was wondering what Call the Wild was. Yeah. So, yeah, rad piece. He did kind of simplify the skull. Or it's like he's wearing. Okay, I see it now. So it's like a wolf wearing a skull. which is interesting. It's
Okay.
not his skull. Because you can see that there's 2 sets of teeth there, which is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, because like
So
this part is
top,
like
half. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like this part of it is like a lighter, is like a almost like a cream color, and then his teeth are completely white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like Cubone, the
Yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah.
Okay. I actually see now. I think it's cooler.
Yeah.
Now you pointed out. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. For me, I would have him, if I were directing him, I would just tell him to make some type of separation, whether it's like some type of blood or something, or just make it more obvious that he's wearing the mask. And I think it kind of would extend it, maybe even turn this kind of like silvery color to like a fire color, maybe, just to kind of give it that pop. But yeah, this is a rad piece of. I could see like a minor league hockey team using this, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool piece for sure. All right, moving forward, number 17, the Rock Hoppers. Zach is back. What do you think of this one?
This one's cool. This one's fun. Yeah, it's crazy how versatile, just like how different some of like the pieces they put out. Because I'm thinking about like to the first one we saw of his was just so intricate and just like almost like painterly, right? And then this one is more like just fun and coming right at you and everything, and a little penguin with a mohawk and almost Legion of Doom shoulder pads, speed lines stuff. Yeah, no, it's cool. Looks like you maybe just strummed that first chord, which is why it's all wavy and stuff. Yeah, no, it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah, I like the colorway, gray. It's kind of hot orange. Yeah, the penguin. When they have to hop off the rocks to go into the ocean and kind of fish, it's cool. It's a good play on words. Yeah, solid piece. I think it'll vote well. Penguins are always cool. All right, moving forward, we got number 18, which is Glory. When Studio's back with this kind of American traditional style panther. What do you think here?
I feel like was a version of this in Critz pretty recently.
Either that or we watched Donovan and them cover it. I can't pull his profile to see if this is a 2.0.
Okay.
That's the thing. Why not? He blocked me.
Definitely. I definitely feel like we saw this, just maybe like not the colorway and stuff.
Maybe the all blue version we saw, maybe.
Right. I don't remember the stars, but yeah, this so I think I remember the original version looking like your kind of more of your traditional. Well, actually, like kind of like neo trad, actually, take on a panther.
Yeah.
But it's got the colors. Definitely see what he's going for. Glory. It matches with the colorway. Is that a navy on the bill?
Yeah. It looks like navy red.
Cohesive colors for sure, right? I mean, stars and stripes. It's got the shred marks and everything. I think for me, like this is probably something. I love animals and everything, but this is probably a little bit too. Like I'm just staring at it, and I'm wondering if just it's a little busy inside the panther and stuff. I just wonder how that would look. So it's cool, but yeah.
Sorry, I just lost the page here. Hold on, I'll bring it back. Yeah. For me,
I thought you were just over it. I was like, all right.
No. I was trying to. I was gonna pull it up and look to see if there was more of them, but he's got me blocked, so I can't even see. And like you, I've spent way too much time watching Ink Masters, so I'm just thinking of like how many American traditional rules this is potentially breaking, and the colorways and stuff like that.
I mean, Oliver Peck would vomit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I almost wish it was just like a cool panther, but we've seen that before, right? So like,
Right.
Someone's done the really rad American traditional style panther, so this is kind of like a step up from that and kind of trying to elevate it. But I don't know if I'm ready for like the page ripping American neo trad panther yet.
Right.
So
I'm looking.
Plus, I'm Canadian, so I'm like made not to like this Americana stuff. So
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It looks like there was just the only difference was in crown, but
the color, yeah, okay.
yeah, at least that I can see. But I could have sworn I've seen this without the stars, like a different version of it. So, but regardless, like see what he's going for. Yeah, like you're right. To me, maybe it's just that tattoo enthusiast in me that's like refusing to accept this kind of,
Yeah.
But yeah, striking colors and stuff.
Yeah, it's drawn nice. It's just this is a little too American for me. But all right, cool. Moving forward, we got The Secret Society by Heather Green. It's kind of like Doctor Doom, Planet of the Apes style piece. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is like supposed to be more like Robin Hood, right?
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think so. Yeah, if I remember correctly, this is like her take on Robin Hood. Yeah, so again, I feel like we've got a lot of purples and green, a lot of purples to talk about, which is cool.
Mhm.
Purple and green. Yeah, I see. Okay, the under kind of reflects him a little bit, that lighter purple, because otherwise my go-to would have just been like keep the dark purple under.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what I think would look best, but it's cool. Heather she does her own takes of Kongs. I don't know if you noticed, like she will clearly, it's like their mascot, but she does her own take on it, and she never works Kong into the name and stuff too. So it seems very like purposeful, and not for like right or wrong or anything. I just think that that's like an interesting kind of take on it. But I mean, I think this is cool. This is like a very approachable like logo and stuff. Like regardless of what your take, if you see Robin Hood or like you say you saw like Planet of the Apes and whatnot, yeah, I think it's cool. And of course, I'm gonna be a fan of the colors. Gorillas to me are dope, pretty much like regardless of whatever. And see, when we're referencing magpies earlier, like yeah, there was no eye, right? But like, see, this holds the shape of the black. So to me, this is so much more like digestible for my mind and or palatable, whatever. But she did a really cool take on that too. So yeah, this is dope. I like it.
You kind of see her evolution too as an artist, so it's cool like how she kind of tackled this. This is almost like a screen print, almost Banksy style drawing where it's like layer in the green, and now we got the green highlights, and then now we got the purple. So it's kind of like cool that she's trying different art styles.
Yeah,
you hold a couple of her hats together. It's kind of almost hard to believe that like one single person did it. So it's kind of showing her her versatility, I guess. So that's pretty cool.
Evolution, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving forward. Serpentine Implemata Sierra Gons. This looks like almost like a quasi. I learned so many words that I'll never use in my regular.
Yeah.
Quasicodal?
I know what you're getting at. Yeah, this, I'm not positive what implumada means, but obviously serpiente, snake, and we'll get that too from the tongue out, the forked tongue. Yeah, very, very vibrant. This is not like a colorway that I would necessarily gravitate to. Again, but looking at it, I'm like, this actually works. Like this is cool. This is nice. Yeah, this is like that Mesoamerican kind of vibe. Yeah, I just think like this is clearly his deal, and one of his, and because he's very talented. But I mean, if you like this is so cool. Like this is all works so cohesive, works well together. Bold, big outline, right, to hold those bold colors in and stuff. So yeah, this is good.
Yeah, so reading his page, feathered serpent known to the mind as Cucuclan, and to the Aztecs as Quetzalcoatl. So I was right, the feathered serpent. Yeah, typical kind of like this kind of like cardinal and green. Also reminds me of like a Supersonics, but then he's added this like hyper neon green and gold and Flanagan's favorite Vice Gold and Beetroot is in there as well. But yeah, it's a cool piece. He's mixed it with his like kind of graffiti style. Yeah, like these are the kind of ones I like where it's like you kind of have an idea of what it is and it's just made to look cool. Like you don't really need
no
to
Canadian
know.
bias.
No, well, a lot of Canadian bias. I will always be biased towards Sierra.
As long as you're
Anyone who's
honest.
Canadian gets extra points. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
rad piece nonetheless. Big fan of his. Yeah, I like it.
And he stays busy too, dude.
Oh man, he's all over the place. He is all over the place. Yeah, Nelson is he gets at it. But appreciate you taking the time, man. I mean, you've been really gracious with your time here. No interruptions from the dog or the kids so far. So you know.
Well, that's good. You can't hear her. I kind of hear her a little bit right now.
Okay. All right. So we'll
I'm glad you couldn't hear it.
Yeah, but we'll wrap up. Where can people kind of find and connect with you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, and if you have any questions, I highly doubt like artists will be hitting me up. But if you like want to collaborate, or you're like you just want to talk to someone who did that recently and stuff, and maybe have some tips, and I'm super approachable. My Instagram is just like @Adam_Gil1. And if I do have pieces, like the couple that I have, they're on there as well. So yeah, and then like you had mentioned too, I'm very active on the buy sell trade page. So Adam Gilbert, and that's a very cool community too. So always, if you're looking for a hat, like my number one in search of ever, I like when I joined the group, I posted and found it within a couple of days, which I did not think was possible. So that's definitely the place to go. Yeah, and that's where.
I got to thank you for being such a positive kind of presence within the online. I think, like, for me at least, it gets kind of tiring in certain circumstances. I know it's what you expose yourself to, but like a lot of the open complaining and like the same thing, like I don't like this, I don't like that. One of the main reasons why I brought you on was every time I've noticed you interact with people, it's just been very positive. And just to kind of see your name kind of creep up a little bit more in terms of crits, you know, here and there. So I knew I had to get you involved. And then as soon as I asked you, you said yes. So I was like, all right, this guy's cool. So I'm glad we got to kick it and kind of get to know each other on a little bit of a more personal level. And yeah, make sure you guys tap in with Adam. And this has been fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, man. It's definitely what I go for. That's my vibe. So I'm glad it comes off that way.
For sure. All right. For Adam and Leon, we're out of here. Peace.
You're at the end of the world, as you know it, my dude. Time is up and you out of mood, so what will you do? It's the BP mercenaries not here to... Brought to you by VFTV.